Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my GT Avalanche 1996, which I've restored from pretty much I bought just as a frame, pretty dulled out frame, and all these parts which are all pretty much period correct, and pretty stoked. Except the thing is that these Rockshox Judy's, Rockshox Judy XCs, the elastomers are completely blown out of them. So what I'm going to do is I've got a set of SRP coil spring conversion I'm going to put in there, but I'm hopeful that these cartridges are pretty good. So all I'm going to do is take the elastomer stacks out. Hopefully they're not all crumbled and brittle and broken away in there, and I'll be able to just grease up the springs and put them back in. So I'll just show you on the condition of what's going on with the suspension and the rebound. Okay, so as you can see, these are the Judy Rockshox. They look the business and they're in really good condition, but so there they are rebounding, which is fine. But the problem is when I lean some weight onto the bike, they stay all the way down. So that basically says to me that these 1996 Judy XCs are shot, or the elastomers are shot. So it's time to chuck some springs in. So let's head in and have a crack. So this is the spring kit that I got. So this is Specialty Retro Products, or SRP, and they're basically they're called steed springs, and these are to replace the elastomers that are inside Judy's. Now you can get these for Quadra 21s, Mag 21s, Judy, yeah, it says here XC, SLs, Judy DHs, Judy Indies. So basically any of the Judy forks that have elastomers in them. What I'm going to try and do is, I remember back in the old days with these Judys, you used to be able to swap out the elastomers without pulling the whole fork apart and pulling the lowers apart. So I'm going to have a crack at that and see if that works. But having said that, if I pull the elastomers out and they're just all crumbled to bits, I'll probably yeah, pull the fork apart and give it a proper service. But I've got a feeling that these will be pretty good, and they just need a bit of slick oiling. There's not much to these sort of things, so we'll see how we go. Okay, so I'm going to try and pull these. Now you're not supposed to use any tools on these, but these are super stiff, so I'm going to just gently hold them and then just crack. There we go. So now I didn't squeeze on these things, I just gently grabbed them. I definitely get around. I love the retro bikes, being that I'm basically 48 and I started riding in 1995, so I've grown up with these bikes. And this bike in particular, the Avalanche hardtail, was an absolute dream bike of mine, whoops, when I was a kid. But yeah, right, so I'm gonna have to pull these apart. Okay, so let's pull these forks apart. I'll get them off the bike, remove the lowers, and then try and get all these bits out. Okay, so I've taken the top of, taking the lowers off, got the extension there. What I basically did was just separated the crown from the stanchions here, so it should be a little bit easier. I did crack the top open of these, and these had these little springs in there as well. So I'm interested to see if there's actually elastomers in here as well, because obviously there's a big difference in spring size there. So I'm just going to loosen these little 5 mils here. And then what you do is you give them a bit of a tap, and then hopefully that will just drop the lowers a little bit as well. So I just rested the little brake crown there on the edge of the desk, and then just gave them a little, and that should drop the lowers a little bit, and then I should be able to just unscrew these a touch more. The adjustable plus side has got the hollow, and then that's the dummy cartridge in there. So this one's with adjustable sticker, and these should just have to take these boots off as well. Okay, so I just popped the little circlip out of the bottom of the damper, and there should be, make a bit of a room here, this should slide straight out. Oh yeah, there's something going on in there. That little ring there goes there. That's the damper. got a grease on it. So this has actually had a pretty recent service, but there is something in there. Ha! So I've stuck this screwdriver in here, and when you believe it, there's actually a spring kit already in here. So that has got some claggy grease, but this is going to be really easy because, so yeah, I guess I've kind of gotten lucky because even though these things are, even though these things are completely clagged up with dirty, stinky grease, I'll give this a bit of a clean out inside. If you can see, it's not. Yeah, so I'll give her a bit of a clean out. These things can go in the bin, and I'll put the new steeds in, and yeah, this is going to be quite an easy process. So that is cool. Okay, so the beauty of these steed springs is they got these different colors, and I think there's 5 different spring rates that you can get. The blue is the one for my weight. I'm 88 kilos, so that should be sweet. Comes with these little token sort of spacer things as well, and it also comes with some slick oleum, which I've already got a tub, but I guess I might as well use these guys. Thanks for that. So I've given the inside of these a bit of a clean out. This had red devil grease in here for whatever reason, so great for lubricating bearings and stuff like that, but it just obviously just goes to clag after a while and gets quite grippy sort of thing. So giving her a bit of a clean out as well, and yeah, I guess the next thing to do is probably just put these in. So let's have a look here. I'm guessing that this goes back in. Get this back in. This little guy goes over the top, and then the circlip goes back in. Now I don't have circlips, but that's got to snap back in like that. Now I probably should have gloves on, but I don't have any rubber gloves. So I can basically just drop these straight in, like that. And then I'll have to clean up. They look exactly the same. I'm just going to have to clean these up now, and then they should be able to go straight back. I've given the preload adjusters a bit of a clean up. These forks are actually really easy to work on because they used to have elastomers, and now they've got coils. So you've got your coil there like that. Preload adjuster just sit on top like that as well. I think the slightly earlier Judy's had like these preload adjusters had a rod and all the elastomers sat in them, but this one doesn't, so that's kind of cool. And just push in and tighten up. And hopefully that's it. That's one side. Oh yeah, so the preloader is all the way out as well, and oh yeah, that's got some pressure on it now. It's that easy, hey? So I'll give that a bit of a clean up, and then I'll do the next one. Okay, there we go. There's the other one back together. Didn't bore you with the details, not much to say really, except it was the same as the last one. So I'm truly not a professional, as you can tell by the dirty workshop of mine, but you know what? Hey, that's okay. I just like riding bikes and having a crack at fixing things, especially all things retro. So there we go. Just give these nice little lather on the inside of the seals there, and put these back together. So just drop that one back in, do the 5mm back up, and then do the same again for the next one. Slowly feed it back in. Okay, let's give these a clean up and put them back on the bike, I suppose. Okay, so there's the old springs that were in my Judy's. Yeah, so normally you would find elastomers in there, but I had a spring kit obviously in there from the previous owner, which was obviously really inadequate for my weight. But I think these forks were off a small bike, so yeah, there we go. Let's just give her a wheel outside and then see how she goes. So as you can see now, there's absolutely barely any sag. So these are rideable now. So yeah, cool. No worries. So feels like the spring rate is almost perfect. Can probably take a few hits now, which is great. So keen to get this thing out in the trails and see how she goes. Yeah, so there you go. Thanks for watching if you did. I reckon I'm going to stick with the boots off because I do like the bling of the bike without the rubber boots. So really keen to get this thing out onto the trails and see how it is. So I guess, yeah, it was a pretty basic like dummy's guide to replacing the elastomers with the coil springs, the coil conversion. Like I said, fortunately there was no elastomers already in there. It was just someone had already done a coil conversion in there, but my spring rate was so soft that it was just no good for my weight. They feel pretty much bang on. The only thing is now, like when I do compress the suspension, it does sound a lot like my coil sprung Marzocchis. You can hear that coil inside, but I guess that's just a small price to pay to have forks that will sort of work again. I mean, the rebound dampers and all that are probably never going to be as good as what they would have been from brand new or match a modern fork, but at least it gets these old retro girls up and running. So give us a subscribe if you like the retro content, and also give this a like or drop a comment below if you've done this. Yeah, the SRP Steed springs, can't recommend highly enough because yeah, basically this bike was unrideable with the way it was, and now she's ready to hit the trails again. So yeah, thanks for watching.